Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
This is awesome! This is awesome!
Hello and welcome once again to Cheap Shot Entertainment. I'm your host Luke and you are the Cheap Shot Nation, and you've probably clicked on this video to find out the results of the Royal Rumble, but if you haven't watched it yet, go over to the network, hashtag 999, and watch it, because it is actually one of the best Royal Rumbles I've seen in quite some time, and certainly one of the best pay-per-views I've seen produced by the main show for quite some time as well. It was from Houston, Texas. It was on the 26th of January 2020, and it hailed from the Minute Maid Park. I was going to say arena, a Minute Maid Park in, like I say, in Houston, Texas. A baseball stadium. Once again, I like these setups for Royal Rumbles. I'm probably in the minority of this, but it's something different. It's different to the usual setup that we get. I like the fact that they come up from the dugouts and all that kind of stuff. It makes it a complete mystery when they're coming out for the Royal Rumble, and it was really good. And I noticed as well, I couldn't remember, and maybe I need to go back and watch last year's, but they had the entrance ramp on the corner of the ring. I haven't seen that for a good long time, because it usually comes down in the middle. I like the entranceway in the corner of the ring. It's very old school. I really, really like it. It gives more people the chance to see what's happening as well. So, kudos for that one, WWE. So, pre-show results, I'm just going to go through these very, very quickly. Almas defended his US title against Humberto Carrillo, and, it was Andrade, not Almas, defended his title against Humberto Carrillo. It went a good 10 minutes, gave decent time to the pre-show matches actually, and like it was said, why are they on the pre-show? Someone's got to open up, haven't they? You get the first match, you've got to warm everybody up, ready for the main event, and these guys did just that. Incidentally, straight after the show, or at least the day after, Andrade was suspended for 30 days for the wellness policy, a violation of. So unfortunately we don't get to see Zelina Vega unless she has a separate script to Andrade and starts, doing whatever. But yeah, Andrade has been violated. He's not been violated. Andrade has failed the random drugs tests, and he has been suspended for 30 days for violation of the wellness policy. But he did defend his title against Humberto Carrillo, and he defeated Humberto Carrillo. Decent match, decent starter for the pre-show, and much better than the next match, which was Sheamus versus Shorty G. I'm not a big fan of the Shorty G character. I think Chad Gable had something. He had the Olympic background, and he, instead of Jason Jordan, could have actually had a decent run in a storyline as Kurt Angle's son. But that's just me. Yeah, bit of a throwaway match. Sheamus, brogue kick, finish, job done. Yeah, Shorty G was never going to win this, and it's a damn shame, because they're absolutely wasting his talents. They keep putting him in tag teams, the tag teams keep failing, and now he's sort of stuck in the undercard, giving rise to Sheamus, who's done a Daniel Bryan and basically gone back to 2010 and come out as Sheamus from 2010. It's like someone's got on 2K20 and made all these characters and brought them back into the fray, so to speak. So yeah, I'm on board with the Sheamus thing. I really like Sheamus, but this match was an absolute throwaway. So yeah, there's your pre-show for you, and yeah, 50-50, not too bad, is it really? Anyway, let's get on to the main show, and we start with the Falls Count Anywhere match, another match between the King Baron Corbin and the big dog Roman Reigns. I think the stipulation here was that the loser has to eat a tin of dog food. That's what I heard. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. I don't have access to Raw and SmackDown. Although I have heard that the highlights will now be on Channel 5, which is fantastic for us in the UK. You don't have to have Sky to watch it. Brilliant. I like that. I usually catch the highlights on YouTube or whatever in the top 10. So just seeing what's happened on the Raw after this, but I won't spoil that. So Reigns versus Baron Corbin. These two beat the tar out of each other, and I've heard conflicting reviews on this match. I really enjoyed it. I like matches that don't confine themselves to the ring, and it was certainly they did everything they could. They went to the announce tables, they put each other through them, they went to the dugouts at one point as well, tore the sheeting off, and yeah, it was just that's where it ended, and it was throwing each other into barricades. They fought into the crowd, like I say. They went up to the ramp, and it was just they used all the space, and I quite like that. I like something that's very different, and it was the middle of the park, so to speak. Being in a baseball stadium, it was middle of the park, and it was decent. It was watchable, and Roman Reigns won via a spear on said dugout that they tore the sheeting off of. But this one had a wooden base, spear on the dugout. 1, 2, 3. Reigns is your winner. And so I heard, like I say, King Corbin has now got to eat a tin of dog food. I wonder if he's going to do that on the shoulders of the people that carry him down to the ring. We had a discussion about the whole King Corbin thing. At least he's running with it, and he's working it, and he's playing it as an evil king. He's got the whole Game of Thrones thing. I don't watch Game of Thrones. So he's got the whole Game of Thrones things with the crown and the cape and things like that. I really like this character. I think it's got legs, but they need to do something more with it. And the whole idea of him being carried down to the ring on people's shoulders, it's like, yeah, I'd totally do that. King Mabel can do it. Then I'd totally do that if I was a king. Like, carry me out to the ring. Like I say, Reigns picks up the victory in this one. There was a little bit of interference. The Usos came out then to save Roman Reigns, and ultimately he gets the victory. We go on to the Women's Royal Rumble next. It's been a while since, this is the third Women's Royal Rumble. Obviously they had that as the main event when it was the first one. And they've not had it as the main event since, but they did have the main event at WrestleMania last year, so that was a good thing. So we start with the Alexa Bliss coming in as number 1. That was my pick, random number picker that we used on Connor's phone. My pick was number 1, Alexa Bliss. She didn't last very long, unfortunately. She lasted a fair while, but not as long as number 2, which was Bianca Belair. And like I said when she came out, I think she's going to get a decent run in this match, because they usually bring someone up from NXT to compete in the Royal Rumble, and there's usually one of those people that have a decent run in the Rumble. Now, this was very much a story of NXT entrants, because there was quite a lot of them in the Women's Royal Rumble. So we start with those two. They start fighting. Lana eliminated first by Liv Morgan, and then Liv Morgan was then eliminated by Lana. If you don't know that storyline, Lana is now married to Bobby Lashley, and Liv Morgan and Lana had a relationship before she got married. So she revealed that on the wedding day, because everyone knows a wrestling wedding always goes the right way, and nothing ever happened except for this time. So, don't know where that feud's going. I don't know the build. Well, I do know the build up to it. Yeah, so they're obviously going to have a feud. And I've also noticed that Lana's lost her Russian accent as well, so she is now American apparently. Yeah, so Lana eliminates Liv Morgan and they fight to the back. Also noted as well, they did have a New Japan style exit, so they didn't go back up the ramp and they came out of the side and into the locker rooms. Yeah, that's that. So we get down to the last three, and there was lots of entrants. Mighty Molly came out. That was the only notable legend that came out, and she came out as Mighty Molly, which I popped for. I was hoping that the Hurricane would be in the men's Royal Rumble, especially when Keith Lee and Brock Lesnar were in the ring. And it's like, oh yeah, get the Hurricane out because, you know, double choke slam spot again, because that would be hilarious. Yeah, so the final three here are Charlotte, the Queen, again, Beth Phoenix, like I say, the only notable legend was Mighty Molly, but Phoenix is obviously still employed by WWE, as well as her husband Edge, who's been doing lots of stuff for YouTube and like backstage stuff. So Phoenix was there, and yeah, she was in the Royal Rumble and she did really well. She got down to the last three, so that was cool. And of course, Beth Phoenix did have a match last year, and another surprise entrant into the Royal Rumble, which you could say surprise. How much of a surprise it was debatable. Shayna Baszler was there as well. Obviously, she's lost her NXT Women's Championship recently, and yeah, she was there and she made the final three. But it was Charlotte, Phoenix and Baszler, the last three. They pointed the sign. They don't get as much of a royalty paycheck as the men because it's not quite equal just yet. Phoenix goes out first after a tremendous effort. Baszler thinks she has eliminated Charlotte. Charlotte comes back in. They fight on the ring apron, and eventually the Queen, Charlotte, gets her title shot at WrestleMania. I say eventually, she pretty much has that every single year, and eliminates Baszler. Now, I don't dislike Charlotte, but I think she's forced upon us, so to speak. And I would have really liked, I mean, it would have been a meteoric rise, but I would have really liked to have seen Shayna Baszler in the women's title match at WrestleMania, going against Becky Lynch. That would be awesome. Another suggestion that was made, could finally pull the trigger on the 4 horsewomen thing, have a fatal 4-way. First pin gets the Raw Championship, the second pin gets the SmackDown Championship, that kind of thing. And I think that would be really cool. But Charlotte wins. She's yet to announce who she's going to face, but it's very much looking like it would be Becky Lynch at this point, because Charlotte is an active participant in the Raw brand. So there you go. Charlotte wins the Women's Royal Rumble. On to the Universal title match next. It is The Fiend, and it is actually The Fiend with his $4,000 championship. Yes, it's on the American WWE shop if you've got that much money and you want to buy one. It's just The Fiend's face on a piece of leather, and it's $4,000. That's more than I'm paying to go and see WrestleMania. Yeah, that's crackers, absolutely crackers. But it's on there. You could consider donating to charity rather than buying that. It's cool, but it's not £4,000 cool or $4,000 cool. He's going against Daniel Bryan, another character that they've sort of taken, put him in 2K20 and made the old version of Daniel Bryan downloadable content. It's only probably said, like, Daniel, shave your hair, we want to put you in downloadable content for WWE 2K20 because it sucks. And then people will buy it. No, they won't. Daniel Bryan puts on a good show here. The Fiend looks absolutely dominant. There were times where you thought Daniel Bryan might just nip in, bit reminiscent of the match with Brock Lesnar, yeah, a bit reminiscent of the match with Brock Lesnar. You knew he probably wasn't going to win, but he did put in a good showing, and Daniel Bryan always does put in a good showing in these matches, and The Fiend retains his championship, and we go on to the next one. Who is going to fight The Fiend next? I don't know. He's gone through all challenges so far, and I'm just clueless as to where this is going to go. I mean, you're going to think that Roman Reigns is going to be there at some point. I mean, it's good that they've kept Roman Reigns away from the title picture this long. So it's about time that he starts building up, I think, and thinking about going for that title. But of course, we've got the male Royal Rumble winner, which we'll get to later, who's also got to pick which title he's going to go for. So we'll leave it open. The Fiend retains his championship, and therefore Bray Wyatt also retains the Universal Championship, and there you go, via mandible claw. So makes Daniel Bryan pass out, and it was in fact a strap match, so they were strapped together, but it wasn't a four corners thing. It was just a normal match, but they were strapped together with a leather strap. On to the Raw Women's Championship next. It's Asuka versus Becky Lynch, and this is a match that I've been looking forward to. Asuka has had Becky Lynch's number for a long time now, and you know, she won the championship against Becky Lynch in a ladder match at TLC in 2018. She also had the run of her last January in the Royal Rumble, so it's a year in the making. It's a match that we haven't seen a lot of. We've seen it here and there, but it's not every single week. So it makes it interesting. It makes me want to watch it. And it was a good match. It was a fantastic match, in fact, as you can expect from these two. Former women's champion, Asuka, and Becky Lynch, the current women's Raw champion. These two, like I say, have a lot of history, but it would be Becky Lynch who would foil an attempt to spray the green mist in her face from Asuka. Fellow Kabuki warrior Kairi Sane was on the outside for the whole match. She didn't really get involved. Of course, she's got a little bit of an injury as of TLC from that match, and that match was fantastic as well. So Becky Lynch ducks the green mist. It sprays all over Asuka's face. Asuka is then prone to the disarmer, and she taps out for the first time to Becky Lynch, and Lynch then picks up the championship. She retains the championship rather, and goes on to Elimination Chamber and potentially WrestleMania. Now I think they'd be daft to not let her go Mania to Mania with this one, but it's WWE, so yeah, you can kind of expect it happening. I'd really like that fatal four-way, 4 horsewomen match. First fall for one title, second fall for the other title, and we go from there. I'd really, really enjoy that, and being that I'm going to be there live, that would be awesome. So we go on to the next match now. It is the Men's Royal Rumble. Hold on. Yeah, I haven't put in the Lacey Evans match. There was a match for the Women's SmackDown Championship as well. I obviously didn't make any notes on that one because I was so encapsulated in it. There was a SmackDown Women's title match. Bayley defending against Lacey Evans, who is now face, apparently. Bayley is heel and Lacey Evans is face. She's shown a lot of improvement, mind, and that was very visual in this match. It just was a little bit flat for Bayley and for Lacey Evans. I think that's because Lacey Evans was brought up from NXT, just, oh right, we've had a couple of matches, you can come up now. And it was really difficult for her to go from NXT to the main roster that quickly. I mean, usually they build them up and they've got a little bit of experience behind them, but she was just brought up for, I'm still not entirely sure of the reason. I think to pan out the women's division, but they would have been better choices than Lacey Evans at the time. But I understand that they tend to keep couples together if they're married or whatever. They tend to keep them together and keep them on the same show so they can travel together and that kind of thing. So that's pretty cool. So Lacey Evans puts on a good show here. Her daughter and her husband at ringside were there, and obviously the daughter was just the visual point. Oh, let's feel sorry for Lacey Evans because she's got her daughter at ringside, let's support her. No. She's shown signs of improvement, she's getting better, and I'm so on her character. Bayley, I dig the heel character. I just think we need to do something a little bit more to make her a bit more sinister as that heel character. So there is that, but Bayley wins. She wins and picks up the victory over Lacey Evans. And because I haven't got the notes, I didn't realise I didn't have the notes. I completely don't know how she won, but I'm guessing it was some kind of Bayley to belly or something like that to win or retain the championship. So no title changes in this card at this point in time. And of course the WWE champion Brock Lesnar is in the men's Royal Rumble, which we're going to get on to next. Is the men's Royal Rumble. We see Lesnar come in first. So there's no preaching here from Paul Heyman, which I was surprised about. I thought he was going to deliver like the Sermon on the Mount sort of thing for Brock Lesnar as he eliminated all these people from the Royal Rumble. And Lesnar comes in at number 1. Elias comes in at number 2. He eliminates Elias straight away after he sang a song, and Elias apparently is face now as well, cutting a promo on Brock Lesnar. It must be absolutely nuts. Followed by Rowan and Bobby Roode in quick succession. Rowan is a big guy. You wouldn't think he'd be eliminated that quickly. And this is like, okay, that's fine. Brock Lesnar, all dominating champion and all that kind of stuff. And to be fair, this is the most time we're probably going to see him this year. I think this performance here, combined with all the other ones we saw last year, was probably longer than all the pay-per-views they did last year. So I'm okay with that. We actually got to see the WWE champion. Hooray! And so quick fashion, eliminates 13 others in quick fashion as well. McIntyre is the guy that does eventually eliminate Brock Lesnar after 13 eliminations for himself. He completely oversells the elimination, mind, because at some point you had Keith Lee in there, followed by Braun Strowman. But guess what? Brock Lesnar eliminated both of those. And this is the point where I kind of switched off to that sort of storyline in the Royal Rumble. It was fun for a little while, but when one big guy eliminates two big guys, I switch off. And especially someone like Keith Lee. I mean, they've already buried Braun Strowman. I don't even know how they're going to bring him back from the depths. But someone like Keith Lee, who's just picked up a championship in NXT, and he's on a meteoric rise, stood toe to toe with Roman Reigns at the Survivor Series and put on a good show. There you go, see you later. We've got no spot from Kofi Kingston, no spot from John Morrison, which I was disappointed about. And I prefer rumbles that fill up the ring a little bit. Not over the top, not literally anyway, but I prefer those kind of Royal Rumbles. I prefer it does tell a story. The Ric Flair Royal Rumble win in 1992 told a perfect story. but he had to survive all of those other men in that Royal Rumble, but he did so with flair, so to speak. Brock Lesnar did it with just brute force and power, and like I say, it was a lot of fun, but I think they dragged it out a bit too much. Let the ring fill up a little bit, and then start eliminating people and say, oh yeah, I'm the all-dominant champion. Anyway, McIntyre eliminates Lesnar eventually, so you can pretty much guarantee that that's what we're going to get at WrestleMania, and he did that with the help of Ricochet. He then eliminates Ricochet in quick succession as well. Edge, the rated R superstar, makes his return to the ring. I was popping so much, but I had to do it very quietly because we were round at Woody's house and his 1.5-year-old son was in fact asleep. Yeah, so we're like, yeah, Edge. I love it. So yeah, Edge hits Pyro. I met Connor Mayhem. He popped for the Pyro. I popped for Edge. Everyone's like, it's like, shh, keep it down. I was like, Edge. I'm just going to say it again, Edge. Yeah. So Edge comes in. Randy Orton. Rollins is the number 30 entrant into the Rumble. And in the last 4 is Orton, Edge, McIntyre, Reigns. Rollins goes out pretty quickly, as he is a heel character, and I think that was a good thing, because he's not quite built up that major heel status yet like he had a couple of years ago. So we get the final 4. They point at the sign. They get big royalty checks, and Edge eliminates Orton after teaming up. Reigns eliminates Edge after a little scuffle, and McIntyre eventually eliminates Reigns with a bro kick and a clothesline over the top. Drew McIntyre, the Scottish psychopath, is your winner of the Royal Rumble 2020, and I couldn't be any happier if Edge had won it himself. Drew McIntyre is absolutely awesome. I've seen him live. He's a tower of a man, and he is just brilliant. And for someone who, 10 years ago, probably less, was in a tag team called the 3-Man Band, and he was playing an air guitar, to some years later eliminating Brock Lesnar from the Royal Rumble, winning the Royal Rumble, and main eventing WrestleMania, you wouldn't see that happening. That is a true fairy tale of a story, and I'm so happy for Drew McIntyre. We get to see him at WrestleMania. That's going to be awesome. I saw him in Nottingham a couple of years ago. Now we're seeing him at WrestleMania. Bit of a difference there, but it's still very, very cool. So overall, this Royal Rumble was pretty damn good. I'd go at least 3.5 stars out of 5 for the whole show. There was some dead points, there was some mute points, but the overall feel of the Royal Rumble match, the main Royal Rumble match, the men's Royal Rumble match, and the women's Royal Rumble match, they were both entertaining individually. Once Lesnar had gone out of the men's Royal Rumble, that's when I switched back on. It was fun for the first 15 minutes. I zoned out, and then I switched back on again. So that's just me. I know people were absolutely loving the whole Lesnar thing. I did for a while, and it was quite fun. But, I've explained my reasons anyway. If you don't agree with me, hit the comment section down below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to know when we upload new content to the channel, and click that subscribe button to subscribe to the channel and support us through those means. So you can join us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook, as well as the t-shirt shop at Close to Order to order your merch and support the show with a little bit of a kickback as well. New merch is going on there soon for Classy Carl. You've seen him doing the Star Wars review with me. Designed him a t-shirt, and that is going on the store, so That's an exclusive for Cheap Shot Entertainment and Classy Industries. I don't know if that's what he's called, but that's what I'm calling him now, Classy Carl. So there you go. That t-shirt will be available soon in many different colours. So I've still got the Aspire show to do from the same day. We went to an Aspire show in the afternoon, then watched the Worlds Collide matches, followed by the Royal Rumble. So it was a full day of wrestling. I'm not going to do a review of Worlds Collide, but I will do a review of the Aspire Wrestling Alliance show in Sinfin. So new era, I think it's called, that show, or New Generation or something like that. Anyway, so that's the Royal Rumble. 3 out of 5, 3.5 stars out of 5. Very solid Royal Rumble. Had some, like I say, some new moments, but overall really good. Very entertained, and I hope you've been entertained by me giving you the rundown of the Royal Rumble. So join us again next time. Thank you very much for watching. You are the Cheap Shot Nation. I am your host Luke, and we'll see you again. Goodbye.